Once again, today we celebrate the Solemnity of All Saints, and a beautiful solemnity that it is. Usually it's a holy day of obligation, but this year, since it falls on a Sunday, you're already obliged to be here. In normal times, we could say, right? But it's a beautiful celebration. And if it was falling during a weekday, I would say make sure to stick around afterwards to see the presentation by our school kids on their saint presentations. But actually, I look out in the congregation today, I see we have two kids that are dressed up as saints right now. So St. John Paul II and St. Mother Teresa are up front, and I feel like I'm blessed by their holiness up here. And it was on Friday as well that after the school mass, our school kids, this because of COVID-19, actually did the presentation on the church, and kind of 1-minute presentations. And I encourage you, if you want something to do today and learn more about saints, it's about a 30-minute presentation that all these kids did, and they did a marvelous job. So it's on YouTube. You can watch it and just learn more about the saints. One of the children was dressed up. I forgot what saint it was, but she mentioned that she wanted to live a life of simplicity, so she didn't wear shoes. And so she said she was always barefoot, and then the little kid kind of wiggled her toes during that time. Another child chose Saint Rocco because he likes dogs. And sure enough, he told us all about how Saint Rocco was the patron saint of dogs, but he also mentioned at the end that Saint Rocco is also the patron saint of pandemics. And so a beautiful person to intercede with during the COVID-19 plague that we're in right now. And it's always interesting when the kids kind of give their saint presentations of how they're attracted to certain saints, because really what they're attracted to is something that they want to emulate themselves as well. Because saints are human beings. They're just like us. And just like us, they too wanted to turn to God. And the beautiful thing as we celebrate all saints is to know that they are just like us. They're like our brothers and sisters who are interceding for us now in heaven, cheering us on, but interceding for us, wanting to be, in a certain sense, part of our life. Reminds me of a story of a priest buddy of mine I know who's now in North Dakota. His name is Father Shane Campbell. Actually, I followed Father Campbell to all of his parish assignments. When he got sent to Epiphany, I followed him after in Coon Rapids. Then he got sent to St. Ambrose, and I went to St. Ambrose. Then he got sent to North Dakota, and I said, nope, not going there, right? I go and visit him about once every 2 years, but I'm staying in Minnesota. But anyways, as a child, Father Campbell's mom and dad put pictures, of course, of the family on the wall. You know, as their first grade picture, their third grade picture, or their high school picture, or whatever it is. But in the center of the family portraits of all those kids was a picture of Saint Padre Pio. And the reason for that was his mom said, well, I want him to intercede for our family. One time, Father Campbell, at the time little Shane, right, had a buddy come and visit, and he pointed to the picture. He goes, is that your uncle? And Father Campbell said, no, that's Padre Pio. But it got Father Campbell starting to kind of think of, well, in a certain sense, he is like my uncle. Padre Pio is part of my family. He's part of our life. He's interceding for us. Just like you and I probably have pictures of loved ones that have gone before us in our house. I know that I have a picture of my dad. I have a picture of my grandma's, my grandpa's in my house. We should also have pictures of saints because they're part of our family and they're interceding for us. Just like Uncle Pio was for the Campbell family, maybe you as a family can choose a saint or an individual saint as well that you want to intercede for me. When you go into my office or into the rectory, you're going to see a lot of pictures of St. John of Vianney, always trying to hopefully help me along the way. And the beautiful thing about these saints, once again, is that they're relatable. They're just like us. And in this past month, actually, the church has beatified more than two people, but two that I want to draw our attention to. The first one I want to draw our attention to is a very, very unique saint. He was born in 1991. Think about that, 1991. I was born in 1983, so now I kind of feel a little older now as your pastor. But his name is Blessed Carlo Acutis, who was born in 1991. and passed away in 2006. Blessed Carlos was born near Milan, Italy, and a single child of his mom and dad. Like most Italians back then, and still now a little bit, they're all Catholic, but not necessarily practicing their faith. Blessed Carlos was baptized, but other than that, the parents really never brought him to church. Although at the age of 4, Blessed Carlos's mom would bring him on walks, and they'd always walk to the church, and Blessed Carlos would walk inside and kiss the crucifix every single time that he went in. Blessed Carlos was a very, very intelligent young boy. Said that at the age of 3 months, he already said his first word, which is amazing. By the age of 6 months, he had put a sentence together. He was very intelligent, and he also asked a lot of questions, like children do. And so when they went in the church, Blessed Carlos would always ask his mom all these questions. What's that? What's that? What's that? What's that? Any parents ever feel like that, right? And this is what Blessed Carlos would do, but the mom didn't know the answers. And so she herself went to take a theology course and actually became a catechist when Carlos was 6 years old. At the age of 7, Carlos received his first communion, and every day would go and try to go to daily Mass with his mom and receive the Eucharist. But he was a kid. He was a child. And like most children, especially in the 90s, in the 2000s, and now as well, Blessed Carlos loved video games. Any kids here like video games? Right? I know I definitely liked video games back in the day. Even now, I play some on my phone, right? Well, Blessed Carlos loved video games. He played Pokemon, all of these things, right? Talk about a modern-day saint for our times. And so sure enough, he got really involved in the internet and playing video games as well. But it's said at the age of 10, he finally had enough money to buy his own video game. But as he went to church that day, he saw a homeless man sleeping outside with no protection in the cold weather. So instead of buying a video game, he bought a sleeping bag for that gentleman. And over the rest of his life, he continued to give to the poor and to be charitable. Blessed Carlos, as well, as I mentioned, loved playing video games. He was very intelligent, so he actually started creating some of his own games as well on the internet. Once again, this is 2003, 2004, so much so that his mom purchased him books for college-level age coding, and he started to code. Actually, at the age of 12, he set up his own website that he coded himself that was more, instead of this being about video games, was a website set up to explain the Eucharistic miracles that happened around the world. Since he has set up that website, there's actually been over 10,000 parishes that have taken advantage of that website and the exhibit that came with it. You can still visit that website today. We ourselves, a couple years ago, had the Eucharistic miracle exhibit come here to St. John the Baptist. It wasn't the one that Blessed Carlos put together, but inspired by him. His motto was this: to always be close to Jesus. That's my plan. At the age of 15, Blessed Carlos talked to his mom about possibly becoming a priest. But as he entered into school that year, he felt pretty sick, so he went to the hospital. As he walked in the hospital, he told his parents, "I don't think I'll be leaving here." And sure enough, he got diagnosed with leukemia stage 3 and passed away shortly after. At his funeral, it was a lot of the people of Milan, a lot of the homeless came because of all the charitable works that he had done that were not even known to his parents or other individuals as well. He's a boy that loved games. He loved the internet. He was a child, but he loved Jesus above everything else. The other blessed I want to point our attention to real quick today is one that actually got beatified yesterday. Beatified means they're one step away from canonization as becoming a saint. There's already been one miracle attributed to these blessed. For Blessed Carlos, it was a mother in Brazil who was cured after touching a fragment of Carlos's shirt. And this other blessed is Blessed Father Michael McGivney, who was the founder of the Knights of Columbus. And the miracle attributed to him was a 5-year-old boy, a boy in Tennessee, who when he was pregnant, when his mother was pregnant, was said that he was no possible way that he was going to live. He was cured miraculously through the intercession of Father McGivney, and to this day is 5 years old, living in Tennessee, and there's a great story about him and his siblings as well. But Blessed McGivney, Father Michael McGivney, was born in 1852 to immigrant parents. And as they went over there, of course, he is a good Catholic family. Back in the day, they had 12 children. Unfortunately, 7 of them passed away at childbirth. Father McGivney was a devout Catholic and entered into the seminary at the age of 17, 18 years old into religious order. But a couple years in, his father passed away and it left his mother widowed with no money. And so Father McGivney left the seminary and went to provide for his family for a couple years. Eventually, he got his mother in a good position financially, up and running again, and he went back to the seminary. This time he went back into the diocesan seminary and was ordained right around 1880. At his first assignment, he actually, in March 29th, 1882, he founded the organization known as the Knights of Columbus. Why did he form the Knights of Columbus? Well, during that time, he himself had experienced the hardship that his mother went through when his father passed away. And this was happening day in and day out. Go back to the 1880s in the United States. This is past Civil War time. Factories are up and running. There's no workers' rights. There's no compensation for workers' comp. And if an individual dies, it pretty much leaves the family unassisted. Not only that, but during the time, the Catholic Church was kind of falling apart a little bit. The unity was falling away. People were in desolation. There's a bunch of loneliness going on, kind of like there is now as well. And so Father McGivney wanted to set up a fraternity in which the members could support each other with prayer, but also financially as well. And so he set up the Knights of Columbus that, when it was founded, was meant to take care of the widows and the orphans. And he actually set it up that if a Knights of Columbus member passed away, the council would take care of that member financially, a spouse, that they would receive a financial gift. Even if they did not purchase an insurance program, they would still receive a gift. That still happens today as well. If you're a member of the Knights of Columbus and you pass away, your family will receive a financial gift. Of course, you can also get involved in their insurance program. That's not a homily, by the way, but it is one that is very good. Father McGivney also encouraged the Knights of Columbus to promote to the best possible way the Catholic faith and also give of themselves. And they were one of the first people ever to organize and volunteer for a blood drive. In 1890, Father McGivney himself contracted the plague that was going around and passed away at the age of 38. Blessed Father Michael McGivney, founding the Knights of Columbus. Now to this day, there's over 2 million members of the Knights of Columbus. Here at St. John's, we are blessed by the organization of the Knights of Columbus, this fraternity of men that come together to support the parish, support each other, and of course, support the church as well. And so Blessed Michael McGivney is the first United States parish priest to be beatified. What are the saints for? They're to inspire us. They're to intercede for us. They are the blessed that we hear about today in our gospel. And they are rejoicing in heaven with the Lord eternally. And what they want for us is to follow in their ways, to turn from the darkness, to live in the light, to be robed in that white garment of salvation. And they want to be part of our life. They want to be known as Uncle Pio. They want to be known as a friend. They want to be known as someone that we can relate to and emulate as well. And so today, as we celebrate All Saints, we give thanks to God for the gift of the saints, and we pray that we too one day may join them eternally in heaven.